Joshua Roberts.
Yeah.
Lynn.
Yeah.
Do you go by Linford or do you go by Joshua? Or just go by Douche? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. Man, it's the end of the week. I thought we'd play a little good cop, bad cop, try to have a little bit of fun. So that's kind of what that first part of the video was about. Basically, we're going to walk through kind of what it looks like to be an accountable leader in law enforcement. It's really important. I know that a lot of what we talk about is negative, but when you see good being done, and when you see accountability, when you see leadership in law enforcement, that makes it apparent that the person in charge cares about the erosion of public trust in the institutional law enforcement. I think it's just as important that we highlight that, because we're all better off if we have better police officers, and we're all better off if we have agencies that are led by administrators that actually care about doing the right thing. Our stories today come to us from the great state of South Carolina. The first story that we're going to discuss is coming from Hartsville, South Carolina, and the second story we're going to talk about comes from the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Department in Spartanburg County, South Carolina. All right, so our story in Hartsville, South Carolina comes from the YouTuber Pepperoni Audits. So make sure you go out, check out the full video, subscribe to his channel, give him the credit that he needs, and make sure you support his work.
There he is right there.
You want me to get another restraining order on you? Because I whooped your ass in court and you ran out like a little girl. You ran out, threw your papers on the ground. You were a fool. That got him to talking. Hit me, bitch.
Burn. Here we go.
Put your camera down and fuck me up, bitch. Put all your shit down. Put all your shit down and fuck me up. Be that bad motherfucker you think you is and fuck me up. Be that bad motherfucker
Back off,
you think
bro.
you is. You spray me with that pepper spray and I'm gonna fuck
Back
you
up.
6 feet. Why you
Back
shaking?
up.
Why you shaking? Pussy ass motherfucker. You a bitch. You a ragged ass, no rotten mouth fucking bitch. That's what you is.
You might want to back
Fucking with
over
me.
if this gets by you,
You
buddy.
spray me
I'm
with
just
that
warning
motherfucker
you.
Right there, I'm gonna beat you to no fucking end. I promise you. I'm on private property. You're not. Know that. Am I invited here? Yes, sir. Spray me if you want to. I'll sue your fucking ass.
Do it.
Spray me then. Be bad. Be bad. Shake. Look it up. I hope the viewers can see your hand shaking. You terrified. You a pussy. You a pussy. Your mama's an invalid and your whole fucking family's ignorant. You always want to fuck with somebody.
We'll see you back in court, Brian.
Do what you gotta do, homie. Your
Tell-
restraining order been up 3 months.
Tell them what happened in court.
I walked out.
No, you ran out.
You allowed.
You
how
ran
you
out.
ran out of court.
You did.
How I ran out.
You threw out the papers and I won.
You a punk. You a punk. You just.
I don't want to get you, man.
This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. You better get a restraining order. Because all these motherfuckers that you fucking with in Hartsville will know where you live at in Pine Ridge. And we're going to do the same fucking shit at your house.
You already do.
I do not.
Yeah, you do.
What goddamn
You
lie.
broke my mailbox.
What mail bar?
You came by and smashed it in. Come on, I have a video of that.
Show me then. I'd love to see that.
You'll see it on the next court date.
Yeah.
Trust me, after this.
You a bitch.
Yeah, we'll see if the judge lights it too.
Brad, I need to get an oil change. Alright? And he needs a goddamn lube job in his mouth. Fucking bum. You can get it out of me. That's
Sure
what-
can.
Your ass go to bed and I'm gonna get video of this in the highway.
You hit me with your car, it's not going to be good. I'll be owning it. That'll be mine.
You said something about
You almost did. You touched me with that truck, I own it. Just to let you know, I own that. You touch me with it, it's mine now. You lose it. And trust me, once I get it, I'll fucking destroy it.
You can't get nothing I got.
5 of us here now. He gonna fool around and somebody's gonna knock him out. Or down. Or both. Yeah, I know.
And see if him kicking my truck and gets anything done. See if that ain't through up there.
Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue, okay? So you say you came here to take pictures,
Suck my cock.
okay?
Fuck you. I'll get my
Joshua Roberts
report.
of Bell Avenue. Okay? You came here to do what? Take pictures? You were invited here. That's what you say. Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue. Okay?
He keeps dots at me, everyone.
You came here to take pictures.
He's telling Brian Ackerson, a known person who stots and harass me.
Apparently, if you have restraining
He doesn't know where I live, and you're telling him where I
You say
live.
you don't live there, so it doesn't matter. You said you're homeless. Okay? Either you're
You hear
lying
this?
to me or you're not. I don't
You
care.
hear this, everyone?
Okay, so Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue.
He's telling him where my
came
mom
here
lives.
to take photos. is
Suck
what
my
you claim.
cock. Suck my cock.
Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue.
Suck my cock.
Okay. Okay. Extremely rude to anybody he interacts with.
Go
for no
fuck
reason.
yourself, you fucking dirty pig.
Okay. Do you want to file a report or not?
I do,
Joshua
you
Roberts.
fucking dirty pig.
Okay, Joshua
Do my
Roberts,
fucking do my report.
Okay.
You hear him dotsing me, everyone?
Yes, sir. Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue.
Keep dotsing me.
Yeah.
This is your police department
Joshua Roberts of
dotsing
Bell
me.
Avenue.
Joshua Roberts of what?
Bell Avenue.
Tell it to that camera.
He can hear it. Clear
Tell
as
it to
day.
that camera. You fucking
Haven't hit
inbred
anything.
hillbilly. Fuck you.
Okay.
Suck my
Are you
cock.
done?
Fuck you.
Are you 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 done?
Fuck you.
Would you like to file a
Suck
report?
my cock.
Would you like to file a report? So I'd like to get some information. If you'd like to help me out, file a report.
He's letting Brian Ackerson, someone I got a restraining order against, letting him know where I live. Let him know where I live.
Because you don't live there. You said so yourself.
You hear this, guys? He's dotsing me.
So, Joshua Roberts of Bell Avenue. Okay? Would you like to tell me what happened?
I'll post it on my YouTube channel. They'll call.
After you edit it?
Sure, I'll edit the crap out of
Take
it.
your name, Joshua Roberts, out? In
No, I'm gonna post all that.
fact, you live in Hartsville?
Yeah, I do. Everyone knows I live in Hartsville. Why do you keep
But you're
dotsing me?
transient, so...
Hey, are you a supervisor?
No, he's not. I'm the supervisor.
Why is he a douchebag?
Because I can be.
No, you can't. You had to be respectful, you
No,
idiot.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
There's no law that says an officer has to be respectful.
You hear this, guys, right?
Nope.
All right, so a couple things about this drive me absolutely crazy. And first and foremost, it drives me nuts when I see unkempt police officers. This guy, this Sergeant Personette in Hartsville Police Department, looks like he's allergic to a razor and a set of clippers. So as soon as I see an officer that looks like that, I know that the agency is an absolute display of excrement. And that's the advertiser-friendly way of saying shit show. The way that this chief handled the apology will tell you everything you need to know about that agency, because he refused to name the police officer. But anybody who's seen the video can clearly see that it's Sergeant Personette who is in the exchange with the guy from Pepperoni Audits. So the chief of police of the Hartsville Police Department is named Byron Snellgrove. And the way that he chose to handle his apology, he made a public apology that he did through a press release to the news. And I'm going to read it to you. This is what it says. Chief Byron Snellgrove released a press release, and it said, "I want to make this clear. This is not the manner in which any of our officers should conduct business with anyone. Professionalism is the backbone of law enforcement and should be utilized in all cases. As the chief of the department, I must apologize for this and take action to ensure that things like this do not happen in the future. The golden rule of law enforcement is that we treat people the way we would want to be treated in the same situation, and that simply did not happen in this case. It is, however, the rule that must be followed and one that I try to instill in my officers. A good relationship between the citizens and the police department is paramount to effective law enforcement. We will continue to cultivate that relationship here in the city of Hartsville." Well, Chief Snellgrove, I'm going to give you some friendly, unsolicited advice. You don't show accountability by having someone write a press release and send it out to the news media. In just a few minutes, we're going to go over a case where the leader of a law enforcement agency did it the right way, and then you'll be able to contrast what that looks like. But for now, if I were you, I would call Sheriff Chuck Wright in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, and ask him if he's willing to do weekly mentorship training with you, because you need it. One, You should not allow police officers to look like Sergeant Personette looks on a daily basis. If Joe Shit the Ragman became a police recruit and you hung a uniform on him and stripes, this is what he would look like. This guy's out on the street. Not only is he out on the street looking like trash, but he's out on the street talking to people like trash. And this is a sergeant, which means that he's the guy who's going to come out and de-escalate the situation when a supervisor is called for. So when you have a patrol deputy who was very likely trained by somebody who was trained by Sergeant Personette, and his man bun or his ponytail and his unkempt beard, which I'm not commenting on from a general population situation, but a police officer should look different than this guy. And it's actually, you should be embarrassed by that. By that fact alone, you should be embarrassed. But aside from that, the way that he talks to this guy proves that he doesn't, well, one, the guy's got a restraining order and recently won a case against the other person involved in this altercation in court. And so you're actually standing there siding with the person who, it's very clear if you watch the video, is the primary aggressor in this situation. And you're sitting there galvanizing his conduct as an alleged leader and supervisor at the Hartsville Police Department. It's actually much worse than just the unprofessional language and just the taunting. It's pretty clear if you watch this that all these guys grew up in a small community and they have a history together. And part of the history is one guy's gotten picked on for a long time and he's the auditor, and the other guys are just good old boys from the same neighborhood, same old thing. It really reminds you of like a sitcom, and it's kind of pathetic, actually. I like the fact that there was an apology, but whenever you have to ask for an apology, or whenever you apologize because you're getting more heat than you want to deal with, and you apologize in this way, it's not a preemptive apology. It's not a, whoa, we got this one wrong and we need to get in front of it now kind of apology. It's a, I'm sick of dealing with this and I don't want the YouTube community to rise up against me kind of apology. Then it's fake. This guy, this police chief, Mr. Snellgrove, is more interested in being right than he is about getting it right. And so he doesn't want accountability. What he wants is for you to stop complaining about it. And that's one kind of apology. Now, contrast that with what you're about to see in this video from the Spartanburg County, South Carolina Sheriff.
The reason why I called the press conference today is I owe a young man a sincere apology because we made a mistake. And I don't want him, his family, his friends, or anybody that knows him to think that he did anything wrong in any way. His name is Olin Christopher Rhodes. This is a guy that did nothing wrong. Now, we had a warrant roundup last week and his picture was put up there, and we'd had him charged with PWID fentanyl, which is pretty terrible. This young man turns himself in. His wife and his family were super nice to me, I have to say. They asked a question on Facebook, have a question for law enforcement professionals about investigations. One of my family members said you may want to check on that, so I did. This lady was very kind and personally messaged me instead of beating me to death on Facebook, which they have a right to do. But they're good people. And this gentleman right here, Mr. Rhodes, was terminated from his job, and I want to say thank you to the city of Malden for understanding that we made this mistake and not him, and gave him his job back, so thank you for that. They lost a little bit of money that we will recoup for them. I just wanted to tell everybody that knows this man that he did nothing wrong whatsoever. He was not involved. It was a mistaken identity. They look quite a bit alike. We were working with an informant who emphatically said, that's him, that's him, that's him. The young officer that did this, very good investigator, just made a mistake. So the whole reason why I wanted to tell you this is I need everybody that knows this guy, and he will tell you for 3 years he's been just fine. He's not done any of that stuff, and he told me in my office, he said, man, that's my past, and that's how we got his mugshot. I've always been a proponent. It doesn't matter what you do, how many mistakes you make, it's how you handle those mistakes. He has done a very good job. We caused him some grief, and I want to apologize to him and tell him that the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Department wants to do much better than that. We've had this to happen in the past. I really hope this never happens again, but the chances are that this may happen again, but I'm going to do our best. I'm going to do our very best not to let this happen again. So that's what I want to say. He's not charged with PWID fentanyl. He's not got any charges on him because he's done nothing wrong. So there's the public apology, and I want to tell both of him and his wife and all of his family, that I am very remorseful this happened. This was not done intentionally, by no means. Very, very honest mistake. And at the right point, I'll show you his picture along beside the guy we were looking at, and I understand why the mistake was made. Okay. So you had a question, man?
Now, I want to make it clear that my comments are not related to anything else that's ever happened in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, or how you or anybody else feels about Chuck Wright. I don't know anything about him. All I know is that they made a mistake. Instead of writing a press release or letting it play out for however many months it took for this guy to prove his innocence, this sheriff said, no, we want to make sure that this is taken care of and we do this the right way. So a confidential informant which is basically an addict that they are relying on for the purposes of credibility to try to find drug dealers, which is an entire calamity in and of its own right that can be discussed ad nauseum. The idea that you will let drug addicts and people that you wouldn't trust with your wallet in the car for 5 minutes tell you who the criminals are and assist you in the process of prosecuting people, it comes with a whole host of a Pandora's box worth of problems. And this is one of them. This Olin Christopher Rhodes, his picture gets circulated as part of the warrant roundup, and it becomes public information that this guy has a warrant for possession with intent to distribute fentanyl. Turns out this guy has no drug connections. He's not at all in the drug game. He has nothing to do. He hasn't committed any crime. Well, as part of this, he gets arrested. He gets booked into the jail. He has to spend money to bond out, and he loses his job. He works in some capacity for a local city government, and he loses his job. And so that's bad. It's terrible. But what Sheriff Wright does is he says, whoa, this is not good. We've got to get in front of this. Not only do we have to get in front of it from a public relations standpoint, but we've got to make sure we do the right thing here. So he calls around, pulls some strings, makes some phone calls. He's makes sure this guy gets his job back. And then instead of sending out a press release where he says, oh, we're sorry, this was a mistake, blah, 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 he stands in front of the podium and he opens himself up to take questions. And he says that he was wrong. And that is what you have to do. That is the difference between being motivated by doing things the right way or being motivated by being right. There is a difference between being right and getting it right. And Sheriff Wright, at least in this particular instance, cared way more about making sure the right thing was done and preserving the integrity of the relationship with the public than he did about resting back and saying, oh, well, this is one of my guys and we'll figure it out. Putting this guy through hell for a year. They're going to reimburse him for the money he had to spend to get out of jail. They've called a public news conference and he stood up there in the hot seat willing to take questions. And of course, there were no questions because you only question people who aren't doing the right thing. Like, the only time that the police agencies have to deal with really hard questions is when they're bent towards cover-up or they're trying to figure out how they can keep from being accountable to the public while also appearing to be accountable to the public. It's like standing up there and preaching transparency while you throw every stumbling roadblock that you possibly can to the free flow of information from the agency to the public. This particular case was handled in such a way that should be applauded. And as an aside, this is how you keep from getting sued. You know, the number of times that I'm a mediator. So one of the things that I do is I sit down between two parties that cannot figure out how to come to a resolution. And I talk to them and try to figure out where there's a middle ground. And usually the middle ground is where nobody's happy, but everybody can kind of live with the outcome. And one thing that I have found in such a high percentage, well in excess of 70-80% of the cases that I've seen, is that in most cases, accountability and an apology, a sincere one, would have likely resolved the incident before it became a lawsuit. Most of the time, specifically in civil cases where somebody's suing for personal injury or somebody's suing for wrong, if somebody would have just been accountable and said, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened, I'll do anything I can to make it right, we wouldn't find ourselves in a lawsuit. And more than likely, I would bet my entire savings account on the fact that the sheriff's department will not be sued over this wrongful arrest. And he seems to understand that they would be perfectly justified in suing, blasting them all over social media, putting it on YouTube and bringing the heat, but he still, in spite of the fact that he knows that might happen, wanted to do the right thing. Now, I'm not a bootlicker. I'm also not a cop hater. I think there's a serious need in our public town hall to have an honest discussion about right and wrong. And I don't think that saying that every police officer is a criminal is the right thing to do. And I don't think that saying that every police officer that's trying to do their job is bad. I was a police officer who genuinely wanted to preserve and protect people's rights. And because of the way that I was trained, I found myself violating people's rights by putting my hands in their pockets when I didn't understand Terry versus Ohio. And I didn't understand that before I patted somebody down, that I had to have certain criteria. Everybody I got out of the car with, I had them put their hands on the hood of my car and I patted them down because it was more important to me to make sure that they didn't have a gun they were going to shoot me in the face with. The world's changed now, and now I know. But I was genuinely mortified at the number of times that I sat in criminal procedure and listened to case after case after case that reminded me of my own experience as a police officer, and how many times, despite me trying to do things the right way and treat people the right way and talk to people the right way, I was actually in violation of their constitutional rights. But this also serves as another lesson, that if you treat people right and you violate their rights while also being respectful to them and not meaning to violate their rights, you're far less likely to be sued and be fired and be complained on by the public than if you violate their rights and also treat them like garbage. And so this is a perfect example of the sheriff getting way out in front of this, doing the right thing, saying that he will do his best to try to keep it from happening again, and trying to square it up with the people. And I can almost guarantee you there will not be a lawsuit, even though one would probably be justified in this case, simply because he cares more, at least in this particular instance, about getting it right than he does about being right. All right, guys, we're going to try to make this an ongoing series. I don't know if I'll do it super often, but I think it's important to highlight police officers who do things the right way. 9 out of 10 of them are going to be negative interactions with the police, but we're all better if we have good police officers that are conscientious and care about the Constitution. So thank you guys for checking me out, for giving me your time away from your family. I appreciate it. I'd really appreciate it if you'd comment, give me a thumbs up, tell me what videos you'd like to see that I'm not making. And we're going to try to get up content as quickly as we can. Goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. I believe we can do that with your help. So please like and subscribe. Click the notifications bell so you know when we're dropping new stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.